The conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran has entered its fifth day, with continued military strikes and expanding regional tensions across the Middle East. Joint US-Israeli attacks have targeted government, military, and civilian infrastructure inside Iran. Strikes have hit western Tehran, where video footage shows thick plumes of smoke rising over the city. Among the sites struck was the Natanz nuclear facility, although Iranian media reports that no radioactive leakage has been recorded. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed that Israeli pilots are operating over Iran and Tehran, stating that Israel will continue to strike the country with force. In response, Iran has launched hundreds of missiles and drones. According to US Admiral Brad Cooper, more than 500 ballistic missiles and 2,000 drones have been fired in retaliation since the conflict began. Iranian attacks have targeted energy infrastructure and diplomatic compounds across the region.
Good afternoon. I'm Admiral Brad Cooper, the Commander of United States Central Command. In this capacity, I lead U.S. military forces in the Middle East. I'm here to provide you an update on Operation Epic Fury, now in our fourth day of execution. First, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the families and teammates of the extraordinary Americans who've been killed in action. And I'd also like to extend our prayers for a speedy recovery to the wounded. Yesterday, you heard from Secretary Hegseth and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Today, I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and provide you with some key facts. By order of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. Having spent more than 36 years in the military, I could not be prouder of America's sons and daughters in uniform who are answering the call. More than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, and bombers from the United States are participating in this operation, and more capability is on the way. These forces bring a massive amount of firepower, representing the largest buildup by the U.S. in the Middle East in a generation. In the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Central Command forces, together with Israel, delivered overwhelming and unprecedented strikes into Iran. Many of you may remember the shock and awe strikes of 2003. The first 24 hours of this operation were nearly double the scale, and we continue with 24/7 strikes into Iran from seabed to space and cyberspace. Now, we're less than 100 hours into this operation, and we've already struck nearly 2,000 targets with more than 2,000 munitions. We have severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. And in simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that can shoot at us. Our B-2 bombers and B-1 bombers have executed uncontested surgical strikes against multiple missile facilities deep inside Iran. And then just last night, a B-52 bomber force struck ballistic missile and command and control posts. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. Thus far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side. For decades, the Iranian regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman, and we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability. Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones. To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones. You've seen it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming. Having said this, we are seeing Iran's ability to hit us and our partners is declining, while our combat power, on the other hand, is building. And my overall operational assessment is that we are ahead of our game plan. Along the way, every single branch of our military is achieving unprecedented success. I'll talk about just a few of them. Our naval forces have deployed multiple waves of cruise missiles, obliterating Iranian command and control and air defense capabilities. From 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, we're squeezing Iran from the sea and have them backed into their own ports. U.S. air forces are doing what they do best, executing a high volume of airstrikes right into Iran. Operationally, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world, the U.S. and Israel, are dominating the skies of the world's largest state sponsor of terror. Our U.S. Army soldiers are defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat. providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran. I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy. There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult for the great soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. Our military objectives are crystal clear, and our people are executing an immensely complex and historic mission with relentless lethality, conviction, and professionalism. And we've just begun. But I have the utmost confidence that we, alongside our partners, will absolutely achieve our military objectives. To all our warriors, Godspeed. Thanks so much.
Debris from an intercepted Iranian drone struck the Fujairah oil facility in the United Arab Emirates, causing a large fire. Iranian strikes also hit near the U.S. consulate in Dubai, where the U.S. consulate was reported to be in flames as retaliatory attacks intensified in the Gulf. Regional security concerns have grown as Iran warned it would target all economic centers in the region if U.S.-Israeli attacks continue. In Qatar, air defense systems intercepted projectiles over Doha, producing loud explosions in the sky. Authorities also reported the arrest of 10 suspected spies allegedly linked to Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Saudi Arabia reported that 2 drones struck the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, causing a limited fire and minor damage. Meanwhile, the U.S. Embassy in Muscat instructed staff and American citizens in Oman to shelter in place due to ongoing activity. The conflict has also expanded to Lebanon. Hezbollah claimed responsibility for rocket fire targeting Israeli forces in the northern town of Metula and announced a missile attack on a naval base in Haifa. Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon have killed at least 50 people and wounded 335, while Israel says it has struck approximately 60 Hezbollah targets, including weapons storage facilities, command centers, and missile launchers. After 4 days of fighting, officials report that nearly 800 people have been killed in Iran and 50 in Lebanon. In the United States, the war has triggered political debate. President Donald Trump said the attacks were ordered because he believed Iran was preparing to strike first. He also stated that large-scale military action was underway while maintaining that regime change is not the primary objective, suggesting that leadership change could come from within Iran itself.
We were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people, people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand.
The U.S. Senate is expected to vote on a War Powers Act measure aimed at determining whether the president has authorization to continue military operation. Following a briefing by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Democratic lawmakers warned that the United States could be drawn into a prolonged ground war.
President Trump is breaking his promises. He campaigned as an end war president, as a peace president. Less than 6 weeks ago, the Pentagon put out a national defense strategy under the name of the Secretary with the approval of Donald Trump. Here was the promise. No longer will the department be distracted by interventionism, endless wars, regime change, and nation building. What? Toppled one government to arrest their leader, assassinated the leader of another government? That's not intervention? That's not regime change? That's not nation building? They're breaking their promises, just like they're breaking their promises to bring costs down for everyday folks. When you wage a war that raises energy prices that are already too high, you're hitting people who are dealing with healthcare costs up, housing up, food up, groceries up, energy costs up. It's time for the president to keep promises, not break them.
Diplomatic tensions have also emerged between Washington and London after UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer declined to support the operation or allow US strikes to be launched from a joint base. The United States confirmed that 4 American soldiers were killed in an Iranian retaliatory strike in Kuwait, bringing total confirmed US deaths to 6. Elsewhere, airstrikes targeted sites used by pro-Iran armed groups in Iraq, while European countries including the Czech Republic and Slovakia carried out evacuation flights flights from Jordan, bringing civilians to safety as the conflict continues to widen.